I did a lot throughout these 10 years, and it went from one step to the other. But I think it also had to do with the fact that so one of the things that I always did was found out what the opportunities were and went for it, because the worst that could happen was that someone would say no. I mean, that is essentially the worst that could happen. You wouldn't get something, which has happened. I wouldn't say that it hasn't. It has happened on several occasions. But when you apply for, say, 10 things, you get through, say, 2 or 3 of them, and 2 or 3 good ones, which has, of course, happened in my case as well. I mean, I wanted to study at the University of Vienna, which is where I'm currently studying. And like I said, I applied to three universities at the same time. Didn't really think I would get through. In fact, I went to the university and asked them if I had the opportunity of getting through. And because of my previous qualifications, they had told me that it doesn't seem like you would get through because you don't fit the criteria. I still applied, and I got through. And I remember joking with the same professor who wrote back to me saying that you wouldn't get her. I remember joking with her very recently and saying, see, you sent me an email saying, no, you wouldn't get through, and yet here I am working with you. So, I mean, it essentially comes down to one, being passionate enough to do what you want to do. I mean, I see a lot of questions in the forum which ask about artificial intelligence, whether or not you need to know the language to be able to move here and study. I will say this, and I think Mr. Mirzapur also mentioned this a while earlier. There are several universities in Germany. In fact, all universities in Germany offer courses that are in English. So it's not that you essentially have to be absolutely proficient in the language to be able to study here. Knowing the language, of course, helps, because it'll help you with very basic things like figuring out where to stay or going to the supermarket or things like that. Even if you are studying a course which is entirely in English. In fact, I have several friends of mine who moved from India to Germany for subjects like economics, for subjects like finance also. All courses that are being entirely taught in English without any knowledge of the language, which of course is also there. So it's not essentially a situation where I would say, learn the language, spend 10 years before you can move. Of course, that is important if you're doing a course which is in German entirely, like my course. But for international students, in most situations, the courses are in English. Why then learn the language at all? Simply because it helps you navigate and communicate better. It's the same as, say, knowing English or Hindi or Bengali or any of the Indian languages when you're in India. If you do not know the language, it's just more difficult for you to communicate. So, so that communication bit is absolutely extremely important. And of course, what happens here is that you will be, as part of your course, if you do not know German, as part of your main course, whether it's your graduate degree or your postgraduate degree, you will be learning the language. It will be part of your course. And another thing is, of course, that education is free in the sense that you do not pay any tuition fees. Tuition is covered by the German government. So all you essentially pay is a semester fee, which is every half year, which isn't a lot of, which isn't a huge amount. It's about, currently here in Jena, it's about 220 euros, which is what I last paid. So it's not a lot of money when you look at it in terms of paying for it in half-year installments. At the same time, you have the opportunity to also work here while you're studying, and you can earn up to 450 euros a month, which is also a wonderful thing to do while you're studying at the same time. So your semester costs is something that you can earn back from working here. Your normal living expenses are also something that you can in fact earn back while you're studying. In fact, that is exactly what I do. I mean, I work while I am studying, and that helps me in fact cover my rent, cover any expenses that I have, which is also I think an extremely wonderful thing to do. as when you are here, which I do not think a lot of universities, a lot of countries, in fact, provide, especially if you're looking at, say, the usual countries that Indians move to in terms of when they want to study, say, the UK or the US or Australia or Singapore or places like that, where it's a lot more difficult to get the opportunity to work while you're studying. Another thing, of course, is that once you finish your degree, you have the opportunity to extend your study visa by 18 months, which is the time that you can use to even find yourself a job. So it's not, which is also a situation that is happening currently in the US, in fact, where they're asking students to just go back home. Even in the event of a situation like this, that is not something that's going to happen here as long as the visa policy stays. And I do not think the visa policy is also going to be changing very soon.